Hey Terraformers, it's Andrew Brown and welcome to another video as we are taking a look at final submissions. And you might be wondering, didn't we already have final submissions in week 2? That is true, but after I started to get some submissions and I went through enough of them, I noticed that we had quite a few mistakes in terms of submissions. So I'm giving people a second chance to submit their work. And so that is having a very clear instruction set around what I expect for these final submissions and what I don't want to see. So let's go into here. And so we have some notes and we'll go through these notes and then we have the form itself. So let's open up the form. So the first thing I'm going to need from you is your Terra Town's home URL. This town should follow. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so it's a bit easier to read, but it should look like this. So I'm expecting something in this format. Of course, don't copy this because this is just mock data, but you need to go and get yours from Terra Towns. All right, so make sure it has the HTTPS :// that follows this format. The next thing is that you should specify what what town it's deployed in. Now I can check, but I want to make sure that where you think it is where it's expected to be. And this is just a check to make sure it's not in MissingGo. MissingGo is the test town. And if I see something in the test town, that's going to end up in an automatic failure because it's not supposed to be in that town. So in order for final submissions, you have to move it into a different town that is appropriate to what you created, okay? And so you need to select that there. Is your home and AWS infrastructure up and running? This is really important because I'm going to go through here and check the link. And if it doesn't work, if it's blank, that's going to be an automatic failure. For the AWS infrastructure, we're using free tier services, so that stuff should remain running. You should not incur any costs, so there's no harm for you to run this for weeks, for months. So please leave it running. If it's not running, when I go and grade this, it'll be an automatic failure. Is your home deployed in MissingGo town? I'm asking this again, just in case it was not clear enough here, that I do not want to see towns in MissingGo for final submissions. So make sure that is the case. I would like you to provide your GitHub URL to your project. This is mine, so don't copy and paste mine. Make sure yours has your username in it and it's in here because I might go and investigate your journaling. I might investigate your code base if for whatever reason I need to. Then we have accommodations considerations. This is for anything that we should consider if there's something that I need to consider or accommodations if your submission is late. You do not need to submit this. There's 2 buttons down below here, submit and save for later. If you're not ready to submit, click the save later button. As soon as you submit, your submission's in. You cannot take it back. There are no undos. We're not going to undo it for you. So just make sure that when you're ready, you're ready. So fill all the stuff in and maybe hit save for later and then double, triple check your work and then submit it. There are notes about this here. So there's detailed notes about the expectations of the stuff, everything I just said. And, I want to point this out here because this is mostly why people are interested in the submissions here. So on Saturday, October 14th, 2023, it doesn't say the year there, but it's 2023 at midnight Eastern is when people are supposed to submit if they're trying to get the HashiCorp certification voucher swag random draw. Because I said that anyone that gets their town deployed to Terra Towns and for the most part have their stars completed, it'd be very hard to submit a town with having your stars completed. But the idea is that if you have this submission or this form submitted and I can see that your town is active and running, then you're entered into that draw. As long as it's not in MissingGo, as long as I can see the home, as long as the home contents isn't empty, then you'll be entered in there. And this form is open to everybody, free supporter, supporter, and Terraformer tier. After this date, this form is only going to be accessible by Terraformers because Terraformers are the only ones that get graded, that get issued a badge for participating in this bootcamp. These tiers do not get access to it, but we're using this form for 2 purposes: for grading for submissions of badges and the badge draw. So just understand that if you're watching this and you don't see this form or whichever, that's the reason why. Okay, so hopefully that is clear, but that's what we're doing here. And so what I want to do is I want to fill this form out so you can see exactly how I'm going to fill it out so that you don't make any mistakes. So what I want to do is I want to go over to my Terra Towns, or sorry, my home project here, because I still have mine deployed in Miss and Go, and I think it's time to move it into its correct location. So that's what I'm going to do. So I do have a lot of branches, and my last one was 63 Payday Home. I wonder if we merged that in, so I'm going to double check here. And I'm not sure if it is merged in here. I'm going to go ahead and do a pull request. And I'm going to, I think I wanted to do a bit more work on mine, but I want to get into the correct category to show you what I'm talking about here. We're going to create a new pull request. I'm going to drop on down. I'm going to go to 63 Payday Home. I'm going to go ahead and create this pull request. Okay, I'm going to merge this into my main here. There we go, good. Now, I'm not sure if I need to bring in my Terraform Cloud because we have this. I think that was just an offshoot. Yeah, that's just an offshoot as we have Terraform Cloud up here. So now I'm ready to go ahead and launch this. I mean, I guess I could make a new branch and make a ticket. I think I'm going to do that. So I'm going to go ahead here and make a new ticket. I'm just going to say final category. For mine here, you do not have to submit this tag. This is just, I'm just trying to keep good practice as we've been doing through this whole bootcamp. So update the, update one of the homes to be in a town category for final submission. So that's what I want to do here. Again, I don't care if you branch this. I just want to make sure your stuff is in the correct place. I'm just trying to follow our habits that we've built throughout this entire bootcamp. I'm going to go back over to here. I'm going to drop on down. I'm looking for that new category. Did I not create that branch there? No, it's right there. 65. Drop down. There it is. I'm going to go ahead and open this in Gitpod. And so this should be pretty darn easy to have switched over. We'll just give it a moment, okay? Great, so I'm back in here. And so what I want to do is I want to make my way over to one of my Terra Towns. I'll go down here. And so I have two. The one that's more developed is my Payday one. So I'm going to go down here and I want to change this to be the town I expect it to be. I'm just going to increase the font here just for a moment. So again, yours should be in the relevant town. This is a food thing. This is going to go in the food town, right? If your thing's not a food thing, don't put it in the food town because that just makes a mess of our platform, okay? So we'll go here to Terra Towns. I want to put it in Cooker's Cove. I'm copying at the top the URL because that's what it expects to be. I'm going to go back over here. I'm going to go and paste in the town name. I'm going to say allow. I'm going to save that. And so I want to go ahead and roll that stuff out. So I'm over here. I'm going to type in Terra or Terraform apply. I want to observe any changes. It says apply requires configuration. I'm going to do tf init. I think we have to do a bin build. I mean, that should happen at the start. Oh, I'm in a subdirectory. That's my problem. Okay. So we'll do tf init. And I realize my head's big again. We'll get out of the way here. Great. We'll drag this over. We'll type in clear, tf init again, sorry. I had to cd back a directory. This one automatically went into that folder. We'll go ahead and do tf apply. I'm going to observe that it's going to the right place. I know that I showed you how to do auto approve, but you should try your best to double, triple check to make sure things are going where you think they're going. So if I scroll up here, oh, right. So I just remembered that when you have a town, you can't just update the name and switch it over. That will result in an error. So I'm actually going to just cancel out of that because the way I coded it is that once you deploy it into town, that's where it is. So, well, I guess what would happen is it probably would tear it down and make a new one, right? Yeah, I think it's fine if we do this. Let's try this. tf apply. And we'll carefully look at what it's doing. I'm going to go here. Yes, I can see he wants to upload all those things. Update in place. See, I don't think it can do that. Well, we'll give it a try and see what happens. And usually we're supposed to increment the content version as well. So here it says, should be greater than version 1.1. So that is a common issue that we have. It's not a big deal. We'll go over to our TFRs. I'm going to increment this to 2. I still don't think it's going to work because I coded it so that it should it should not be able to switch towns, but we'll see what happens here. So I'm going to type in yes. And we're getting this output because we have that debugging on. And so it's saying here that it can switch it over. There are no errors, so maybe it can switch over. There's no problem. I'm going to give this a refresh. I'm going to click into here. I'm looking for my page. So payday. Andrew Brown. So even though there were no errors, I think this is just how mine works. So it's still over here, right? And so my problem here is that it's not going to just change it. You can't just update the name and have it switch over. So we need to tear this down and then set it all back up. So I'm going to say TF destroy, auto approve. Okay. Now, should we be able to move our town around? I don't know. Like, my thought was that if you create it once, you should never be able to move it around. You know, maybe in practice, that's not the best thing. I'm going to change this back to 1 and 1 because these are getting fully torn down. I'll be back here when this is done, okay? All right, so I've pulled down my infrastructure. Now what I'm going to do is do a TF apply and stand it back up. And so this time, my payday page should be in the correct category, which is what I want to submit for. I'm going to go ahead and type yes. I'll be back here when it's done, okay? All right, so it looks like that is now deployed. So what I'm going to do is confirm its deployment. So we'll make our way over to Terra Towns, and I want to refresh on MissingGo. I want to make sure that payday is now gone. Well, we have somebody else also having a payday bar, but we'll go back over here. We'll go into Cookers Cove, and there we go. Notice my page loads, so you should be confirming all these things. Anytime you work as a cloud engineer or anything here, you got to make sure the stuff works and it is where you're expecting it to be. So this is now in the correct location. I have my URL. Notice it shows up here, the name of the town. Make sure it's in the right location. I'm going to go back over here. This is now in good shape. I'm just going to just say correct the town. Okay, I don't even care about merging this back into main. I'm not really worried about it. I'm going to go ahead and copy this URL. I'm going to paste it in here. I've deployed this in Cookers Cove. Is your home and AWS infrastructure still up and running? Yes, because it clearly is. Is your home deployed in MissingGo Town? No, as it should not be. Provide my GitHub URL, no problem. We'll go over here. I'm going to get the context. I'm going to grab this URL. Notice that I don't have stuff on the end of it. It's just that URL. As shown like the one example here. I'm not late, so I don't need to fill anything in here. Only fill this in if you're late. Don't fill this in if you have an incomplete submission and your infrastructure is not up. You might as well not submit. If you're not ready to submit right now, you can save for later and submit closer to the date. I'm going to go ahead and submit. And there you go. It shows when I've submitted. I can view my submission. And, you know, that's about it. So, yeah, just watch out for the fact that when you update, you can't update the category name. You'll have to swap it over or like tear it down and set it back up. But just double, triple check that it is there. And if you have all that stuff in place, you're going to be in good shape. But we'll see you in the next one, okay? Ciao.